The man who builds his life upon how he feels will die a beggar, no matter how much gold is in his vault or how many bodies he has conquered. Yes, a man may conquer empires, filling his vault with gold and lie with countless women. But if every step of his life was governed by how we felt in a given moment, he died as a beggar. Why? Because he has never touched wealth, he has only touched stimulation. He has not lived by clarity, by truth, by devotion. He has lived by chemical fluctuations inside his body. One day he felt greedy, so he chased gold. One day he felt lustful, so he chased bodies. One day he felt powerful, so he conquered men. Every act was dictated by a mood, and moods are smoke. So, though his vault is heavy, his hands are empty. Though his conquests are many, his heart is hollow. He dies a beggar, for he never possessed what was real. True wealth is inner clarity. True conquest is over one's own delusions. True gold is silence that cannot be stolen. The man who builds his life on feelings never arrives at this. He only collects toys for a restless child inside him. So the teaching is this: a life built on feeling leads to begging, even if the world calls it success. A life built on truth leads to kingship, even if the world calls it failure. What is real is that which does not come and go. Your body comes and goes. Your moods come and go. Your desires come and go. Your victories and defeats come and go. But that silent awareness within you, the one who watches all of this rise and fall, that is real. It does not change when you win. It does not change when you lose. It was there in your childhood. It is here now. It will remain when the body is gone. Why does a man who builds upon feeling die a beggar? Because he has spent his entire life chasing shadows. He has gathered things that vanish. He mistook stimulation for wealth. And when death comes, he sees his hands are empty. He never possessed himself. Why is he restless? Because feelings are endless waves. When you chase one, another arrives. Lust is never satisfied. Ambition is never complete. Approval is never permanent. The man who lives by feeling is condemned to chase without end, like a thirsty man drinking salt water. The beggar's curse is this: no matter how much he accumulates, he is still poor. The restless man's curse is this: no matter how much he indulges, he is still hungry. Only the man who discovers what is real, the ocean beneath the waves, finds rest, finds wealth, finds freedom. When you build based on feelings, the entire journey becomes fragile. One day you feel motivated, so you work. Next week you feel burned out, so you stop. You feel excited by a shiny idea, so you chase it. You feel bored, so you abandon it halfway. You feel greedy, so you jump into something without clarity. You feel fearful, so you withdraw from an opportunity that was right. This is not building, this is drifting. You are at the mercy of moods, and moods are fickle. So, even if by accident you gather some money, or even if by chance you scale a business, inside you remain poor because the entire thing was built on sand. The moment the mood turns against you, the house collapses. This is why men who make it big on a wave of excitement often find themselves hollow, restless, even depressed. They thought money would silence the beggar, but the beggar lives on because he was never fed truth, only fed dopamine. The man who builds his wealth upon feelings is destined to starve. He feels excitement, and so he launches. He feels discouraged, and so he quits. He feels greedy, and so he jumps into schemes without understanding. He feels afraid, so he withdraws from the one path that was real. He is a puppet. The strings are pulled by moods, by hormones, by the applause of others. And a puppet, no matter how much money is in his bank, is still a beggar, for he owns nothing of himself. Do you know why he dies a beggar? Because feelings never complete. They never arrive. Lust is never satisfied. Greed is never quenched. Ambition is never enough. He chases waves, and every wave disappears. His vault may be full, but his soul is empty. Why is he restless? Because he has built on sand. He cannot trust tomorrow. His goal cannot silence his hunger. His victories cannot still his mind. He must chase the next deal, the next high, the next conquest. The beggar's bowl is bottomless. The man who builds on truth is different. He does not ask, do I feel like working today? He asks, what is true? And the truth is mastery, discipline, clarity, devotion. He builds not because he feels like it, but because it is the only real thing to do. This man becomes wealthy even if he holds little gold because his foundation is unshakable. The other man remains a beggar even if he drowns in riches because his foundation is waves. The beggar believes the external will complete him. He believes gold will silence his hunger. He believes woman will soothe his loneliness. He believes applause will prove his worth. He's forever reaching, forever clinging, forever thirsty. He tries to nail clouds to the ground. He tries to freeze the wind in his hands. He takes what is impermanent and demands it to be permanent. This is why he dies hollow. The man of clarity knows everything external is fleeting: wealth, woman, status, praise, or shadows on the wall. He does not make shadows into gods. He does not confuse decoration with foundation. His wealth is not the coins. His wealth is his clarity, his discipline, his silence, his ability to stand unmoved while the waves rise and crash. The beggar dies restless. The man of clarity dies free. The man who builds his life upon how he feels is building upon sand. Feelings are the most fickle of all currencies. They rise and fall with the weather, with the body, with a single word spoken by a stranger. They have no root, they have no spine. To live by feeling is to live as a slave to moods, a slave to hormones, a slave to the insults and the prices of others. The world tells you, follow your feelings. This is the gospel of the mediocre. Because the man who follows his feelings will spend his life chasing sugar, chasing woman, chasing approval, chasing gold, and when the sugar is gone, when the woman leave, when the crowd turns its back, he is left naked. A life cannot be built upon that which changes every hour. A life must be built upon clarity, upon understanding, upon what is real and unchanging. So, no, you must never build upon how you feel. You must discover what is true and build upon that. Do you see? It is not about denial of feeling, it is about never mistaking the wave for the ocean. A wave is temporary, it rises, it falls, it vanishes. The ocean is eternal, it is the source, the depth, the stillness beneath all waves. Your feelings are waves. Anger comes, it swells, it crashes, it disappears. Joy comes, it shines, then it fades. Lust burns, then it dies. Even sadness, despair, elation, all are visitors, none stay. But the truth, what you actually are, is the ocean, silent, vast, unmoved, watching all the waves come and go. If you build your lives on waves, your house collapses every time the sea shifts. Today you are motivated, tomorrow you are depressed. Your life lurches like a boat without anchor. If you build your life on the ocean, on clarity, on truth, you stand unmoved whether the wave is high or low. Then feeling is simply weather. You experience it, but you are not governed by it. The error is not in having feelings. The error is in bowing down to them, mistaking them for reality. When you live by feeling, your entire existence is tied to moods. One day you feel stronger and unstoppable. You run to the gym, you start a business idea, you declare yourself disciplined. The next day you feel tired, bored, discouraged, and all that energy collapses. This is the house built on waves. The foundation keeps shifting, you rise and fall with the moods. Your life is dictated by chemical storms inside your body, not by clarity. Now imagine the man who builds on truth. He does not ask, do I feel like going to the gym today? He simply knows the body must be trained, this is true, and he goes. He does not ask, do I feel like being loyal to my craft, to my woman, to my word? He simply knows integrity is truth and he acts. The wave is the surface, it is noisy, restless, fleeting. The ocean is the depth, it is silent, powerful, unshakable. When you live from truth, you are the ocean. The waves still appear. Sadness, joy, desire, but they no longer decide your life. They are weather, not foundation. So the question is not, what do I feel like? The question is, what is true? When you are caught in the wave, it feels everything urgent, absolute. If anger rises, it feels like the whole world is against you. If desire rises, it feels like you must have that thing or person. If sadness rises, it feels endless. But every single one of those feelings has proven false. Look back, anger passes, desire fades, sadness dissolves. They are surface movements like ripples and waves on top of the sea. No matter how big they are fleeting. The ocean is not touched by any of this. The depth of the ocean does not rise or fall with every passing wave. It is silent, still, vast, steady. In you, that depth is your awareness, your clarity, the part of you that knows. It never changes, it simply witnesses. When you mistake yourself for the wave, you live in turbulence, forever tossed by moods, forever restless. When you recognize yourself as the ocean, you remain steady. You see the waves, but you are not fooled by them. The surface is noisy, the depth is silent. The surface is fleeting, the depth is eternal. The man who builds his life on failing is building his ego, not his life. Every mood, every desire, every craving is fuel for the ego. I must have this. I must feel that. I deserve this. He constructs a house of noise, a theater of illusions, and calls it life. But the ego is fragile. It is a performer, not a creator. It can be praised one moment, humiliated the next. It rises with applause, it falls with criticism. And when death comes, the stage collapses, nothing remains. The man of clarity builds nothing for the ego, he builds for truth. His actions are silent, deliberate, rooted in reality, not in the tremors of mood or desire. He does not seek applause, he does not chase validation. Noise is everywhere, ego feeds on it. Clarity is silent. True wealth, inner wealth, grows only in silence. So the beggar dies in noise, the ocean man dies in stillness, holding everything and nothing at once. Ego or feeling is noise, clarity is silence. When you act from ego or feelings, you are chasing shadows. You are trying to fill the hole of your insecurity. You burn yourself for the applause of fools. When you act from clarity, you are not chasing anything. You are simply walking the path that is laid bare before your eyes. You are not seeking respect. You are not seeking validation. You are moving because you cannot not move. When you act from clarity, you move not because you want something, not because you feel like it, not because anyone told you to. You move because it is obvious, because the path is laid bare, because inaction is impossible. You cannot not move, just as the river cannot not flow, or the sun cannot not rise. There is no struggle, there is no craving, there is no should I or shouldn't I. The body and the mind obey the truth of the moment effortlessly, like a machine tuned perfectly to reality. Contrast this with feeling or ego. Feeling or ego says, I will do this only if it benefits me, only if I feel like it, only if I get approval. Movement becomes struggle, hesitation, calculation. Every step is anxiety, every pass is suffering. Clarity moves like inevitability. Feeling or ego moves like a beggar, begging life for scraps. Ego says, I will prove them wrong. Clarity says, this is obvious. One destroys, the other reveals. The man of ego dies 1,000 times, even if the world crowns him king. The man of clarity is untouchable, even if the world spits on him. The man of ego dies 1,000 deaths because his life depends on conditions. He wants approval, he wants crowns, he wants victory, and because these things are never permanent, he is in constant fear of losing them. Even when he wins, he suffers because he knows the victory will rot. The man of clarity is untouchable because he has no stake in impermanence. He is not playing the game of winning and losing. He does not crave safety. He does not crave applause. He does not even crave survival of his image. He burns through his body, through his mind, through his fears, not as an act of self destruction, but because he sees their falseness. Untouchable does not mean nothing painful happens to him. It means nothing owns him. The world can spit, scorn, betray, crucify, yet he remains free because he never tied himself to their robes in the first place. He is untouchable because he is not trying to win. He is untouchable because he does not live in attachment to impermanence. He is untouchable because the very thing that crush ordinary men, insult, rejection, failure, loss, cannot crush him. Insult cannot touch him because he has no self image to protect. Rejection cannot touch him because he is not begging to be let in. Failure cannot touch him because he never sought success. Loss cannot touch him because he owns nothing. The ordinary man lives by these things. His entire life is built upon the fragile scaffolding of approval, victory, and security. So, when one stick is pulled, he collapses. The man of clarity has already set fire to that scaffolding. There is nothing to collapse. He is untouchable not because he is strong, he is untouchable because he is empty. The man of clarity has already set fire to that scaffolding because he saw it was false. He did not set fire to it as an act of bravery or rebellion or sacrifice. He set fire to it because he looked closely and discovered it was made of cardboard. The scaffolding of ego, reputation, possessions, validation, success looks solid to the ordinary man, so he clings, he builds, he polishes. But the man of clarity examines it, he touches it with bare hands, he sees it crumble, and once you see the falseness, you cannot continue to worship it. Fire becomes the only honest response. He did not burn it out of hatred, he did not burn it out of courage, he burned it because he had eyes. When you act from feelings or ego, your entire life becomes theater. You are not living, you are performing. Every move you make is calculated to be seen. Every risk you take is secretly a plea for applause. You are not building for yourself, you are building for the gaze of others. You are not climbing for the summit, you are climbing so the crowd below can clap. This is why you burn yourself out, because the applause is fickle, because fools are never satisfied, because the hole inside you cannot be filled by their noise. So you keep running, you keep rebuilding higher towers of shadow. And every time you think you arrived, you realize you are still starving. This is why ego driven men die 1,000 times. They exhaust themselves for ghosts. They sacrifice their peace for validation that evaporates in an instant. When you live from feelings or ego, you are never simply yourself. You are always adjusting, shaping, editing. You smile not because you feel joy, but because you wanted to be liked. You speak not because truth pours out, but because you want to sound impressive. You work not because the work calls you, but because you crave recognition. This is theatre, it is a stage play for the world. Every gesture is a script, every success is a costume, every relationship is an audience. You are not living reality, you are playing a role. And the tragedy is, you don't even know you are acting. This is why it exhausts you. Because permanence never ends. Because the audience is fickle. Because the mask must be worn even when it cuts into your skin. To live is simple, raw, unadorned. To perform is complicated, anxious, endlessly tiring. So, when you act from feeling or ego, you are never free to just be. You are always trapped in how does it look. And that is why life feels heavy, strained, restless.